Good morning, everybody. Let's get this show started. Good morning, everybody. Today is New Year's Eve, January 30th, 2018, guys. We are just moments away. Moments, hours, epochs away from 2019, an era that will usher in the greatest year that Bitcoin has ever seen. Is that what you believe? Potentially. It's what a lot of people believe. I am attempting to kind of deal with the bit rate this morning, guys. Again, it's still kind of snowing here a little bit, so we're dealing with this as best as we can. Hopefully the buffering isn't too bad. As always, I hope you guys are doing well today. I hope you guys are trading safely. We're going to break down the markets with an analysis here, as we do on Sunday, taking a larger view of the cryptocurrency markets, where Bitcoin might be heading in 2019, what we've been through in 2018. I will be preparing a more in-depth show and analysis, really covering and encapsulating the history of Bitcoin's parabolic rise throughout 2018. Really through 2017 into the beginning of 2018, and our decline through 2018. What effect that has had on us as traders, what effect the news coming out for the markets is going to have on us moving forward, and what we can expect to see, at least what I am expecting to see moving forward to the new year. I do want to give a big thank you to everybody joining me today on Sunday morning. Big shout out to everybody. Scotty Ogden, Together to the Bottom, Jurgen Ernst, Dice N0, Fifth Roan, Advanced Bajaz, Beg Ferrati, Dice Enzo. I think I said your name already. DJ Spin 1025 and Nitin Soki. Good morning to you, Mr. Decipher X. How are we doing this morning? Emmanuel Magda, Happy New Year to you as well, my friend. Nitin Soki says, killing it today. Made 30% just today. Fantastic, man. Awesome. Audio is good? Good, thanks. Good to hear, good to hear. Gabe Anderson, good morning to you. I was experimenting with some new filters last night. As I said I was going to do, I did attempt to throw some equalizers onto my microphone, but I found that they did not give me the correct audio settings that I wanted. I really didn't like the sound of it, so if anybody is using studio headphones, let me know if you do actually still hear a little bit of a pitch, a little bit of a whine. I think that I did kind of fix that to the most part, but we'll see how things are moving forward. Got to watch crypto. Mr. Ether, good morning to you, sir. Mr. Hut QC, good morning, everybody. Coin Hunter, no, we will not be sending you any Ethereum. I am sorry, my friend. That's just not what we do here. All right, guys, so let's get right into it. Let's go to the charts and let's do our analysis for this morning. Oh, my dear. Nothing more than I love than to open up a scene and see that I do have to reselect my window capture. Excellent, there we go. That sound is back. Interesting. I wonder what's causing that. Let me try. Let me see if I can't. Probably won't be able to do anything with it today, guys. So just bear with me. Hopefully the analysis is good enough to bear with the technical issues. Again, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, if you know what I mean. It's interesting because I did do the live stream last night, the webinar for the Cracking Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group subscribers. And the audio was fantastic last night. And I have not changed anything on my setup, but I did notice last night as I was playing around with the audio, didn't change anything. So hopefully it's not my fault that it was that the whine was kind of back. I didn't do anything, so I don't know what I don't know why God's mad at me. I really don't. That's all right. I most likely deserve it. All right, so let's start off today. Yeah, the video's lagging because of the snowstorm outside, though. That is affecting the bandwidth. That is one of the nice things about living in the state that I live in. Very safe, very community-oriented, wonderful people. You know, the kind of state where if you break down on the side of the road, people do stop to help you out, and you don't experience that in every state in the union. But it also means very few fiber optic cables, especially in the area where I live. So we do the best that we can. An old dot matrix. All right, so let's get into this, guys. Sorry, trying to deal with the chat. All right, so looking at the weekly chart for Bitcoin on Bitstamp, as we do see some interesting things that I do want to talk about. Let me pull up my notes so I cover everything that I wanted to talk about. So obviously the thing that we cannot deny if we do pull up our 200 period simple moving average, yes, we clearly did find strong support off that level. As I was expecting us to, that was really kind of the last key indicator that a lot of traders, bots, algorithms, what have you, would be programmed to act around, as well as traders themselves. You do always want to be careful of things like meme indicators, things that everybody is looking at and talking about. The danger behind that is the danger of consensus trading. When you have a lot of traders that are on the same side of a trade, they tend to all, it's an interesting aspect of human psychology that I see played out in real life and in the charts. Retail investors tend to all act at the same time in unison. It's amazing to see, actually. You can really see when the levee breaks, for retail at least, you can see them all move in the same direction simultaneously. The problem with this is, though, is that retail tends to not move the market as much as individuals think. Institutional order flow tends to move the market in a much more impressive fashion. Bots don't really move the market. Bots just capitalize on which direction the market's moving. Now, retail traders can move the market. That's not to say that they can't, and they do, especially when they do act all at once in a herd mentality. But generally, when you're looking for big players to get into a particular asset class, when there are large buy orders put in, that is what's really going to rise the tide. Most retail traders do not have the skill, discipline, or chutzpah, if you would, to really buy on red candles and sell on green candles. Most retail traders tend to get wrecked most of the time because they tend to buy directionally which way the price is moving, and they usually buy right when the movement is over, unfortunately. But that allows them to provide liquidity to institutional order flow. This is just something that you'll notice the more that you trade. So obviously we did find support off that 200 period simple moving average, regardless of how much we want to look at it as a meme indicator. The reality of the situation is that we could and did expect to find strong support off of it as well. One of the interesting traders in our trading group, excuse me, he's not actually in the trading group, he's in the community, Clipson, he had posted some interesting charts where he was talking about how he had been back testing the 200 period simple moving average, and noticed that when we did lose it on the daily, that was the decline. We lost it on the 2-day, we lost it on the 3-day, and he just kept back testing that and using that as an area of potential support. We did actually find brief support on all those 200 period tests of the simple moving average across varying time frames, until finally we were able to find a nice support off of the 200 period simple moving average on the weekly time frame, and we have had this nice recovery bounce. Now, we are currently finding support. The low of this week did wick off of the high of our last bearish weekly candle. So, as you can see denoted by the horizontal ray right here, this has been acting as our current point of support. And as you guys know, previous resistance does turn into support. And although we did get the bullish reaction off the 200 period simple moving average, a cautious trader would have been waiting for us to actually trade above that, at least the open of the last bearish week, if not the actual high of that last bearish week. Okay, so if this support, you do have to start looking at these things in a very simple way. If that support does break, it does not herald well for Bitcoin. It would posit in for me a return back to that 200 period simple moving average in that range around 3,100 to 3,200. Potentially even a wick below that 200 period simple moving average, as we saw on this candle. Actually, the low of this weekly candle was $3,122. So we can't expect that if that support does break. Currently, that support's sitting at $3,588. You could be more conservative with that and drop that down to the actual open of that candle, which would be $3,528. So either anywhere in that range. It's a very tight range, 3,528 to 3,588. Personally, I feel more comfortable going with the actual high of that candle, as I like to be a more conservative trader. So a break of that support level does not herald well for Bitcoin moving forward, just in its most basic element. Now, we do currently have, this is interesting to me, we do currently have a weekly spinning top doji. This is an indecision candle, and what it says is that the market is unsure of which direction it wants to go into. We see strong buying pressure from the bottom, strong selling pressure from the top, getting a little bit of grinding down from that 8-period exponential moving average on the weekly time frame as well, which, as we can see, has been the resistance buffer for any continued bullish movement. Really any breakout bullish movement. We do see that we wick right off the top of that on this week as we did rise up, and all we did was form, as I talked about at length in yesterday's video, a lower high. So you do want to be cautious, you do want to be aware that a lot of traders are looking at the inverted head and shoulders meme. I'm going to get into that here in a little bit, and why I am, as I said yesterday, very speculative and tentative about that playing out, and I'm going to be playing that long position very conservatively if and when we do get to those levels. But this weekly candlestick is very interesting to me. It is a spinning top doji after a brief relief rally at the bottom of a downtrend. And we've only had one candlestick like this ever in my analysis of Bitcoin's history. So, and that actually occurred back in March of 2015. So if we actually go back to March of 2015, and we'll zoom in here a little bit, we see a very similar pattern. We see that we are in a pronounced bear trend right here. Even though the situation is a little bit different, we do see this grind down, this break below support. You could view this as the $6,000 level right here. Let's go ahead and take those exponentials off so we can see a little bit more clearly. There we go. we do see that same candlestick right here. So this is back in March of 2015, and it's not identical of a candlestick, but it is interesting to see that we do have this pronounced downtrend. We put in a bit of a bottom. We put in a strong bottom, actually, and then we have a little bit of a rally, and then we put in that spinning top indecision doji. And what that heralded for us, excuse me, actually, I'm looking at the, yes, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong candlestick. This is the candlestick I wanted to talk about, actually. Excuse me, it was in November of 2014. Sorry. So we did put in a little bit of a bottom right here. We had a little bit of a rally right here. We put in another bottom. We come up and we experienced that spinning top indecision doji right here. And that did herald a significant down movement into what was actually capitulation. So if you want to consider this the same candle as well, the reason why this is not the exact same scenario is that this did occur after we already had capitulation. As you can see right here, this is clear capitulation on the weekly time frame, January 2015. That week, we did put in a massive low candle, and then we sprung up almost 40% right off the lows of that candle. That is what I'm looking for clear signs of capitulation, and to tell us that the bear market is in. Let me make sure I'm not ignoring the chat. Cursed Casino, good morning to you, sir. How am I doing? I'm doing very well, man. It is a beautiful Sunday morning. Even though we are having a little bit of slight technical difficulties, it's okay. Do I have a position open? No. We did take a position yesterday. We did take Bitcoin and Ethereum on the perpetual swap contract to the downside, and I am no longer in a position at this moment in time. I am now looking for another opportunity to re-enter into a short position. I am not positionally trading XBT or ETH at this point in time. Although I am, again, as I said, looking for opportunities to enter into a short. K7 Jixer 1000, wouldn't be surprised if the market pumps January 1st. That would be an interesting aspect, and I am kind of holding out for a longer positional trade for Bitcoin to enter into that sweet spot of shorting for me in between that parallel channel that I have charted out and that I'll get into here in a little bit. Sorry, guys, just drinking my morning coffee. Apologize for the sippiness, but it is cold here, and I do need to stay warm. Okay, so, yes, so we had posited in that spinning top doji, and that did herald a significant continued downwards movement into capitulation. Now, you can view this as the same thing, but again, as I just spoke about, this was post-capitulation, so we don't see signs of that here. And just so you guys can see, I mean, this is the clear signs of capitulation that I'm looking for right here, where you just have this massive wick down on a weekly time frame basis, a massive, massive, massive spike in volume comparative to everything else around it, and then price never even returns remotely close to that bottom. The markets do not generally give you that kind of opportunity to buy the bottom. Excuse me. If we go look at what we're currently experiencing with price now, this does not look anything like what we experienced over there, and you can just clearly see that. Yes, this is beginning to look like a consolidation range, a little bit of down, a little bit of a relief rally here, just as we put in this equilibrium order block. But again, we're only making lower highs. We have not had a confirmed or even a speculative breakout of this resistance area yet. And us finding support at the top of this high candle is okay for those who are taking that slight positional trade in that aspect, but it does not herald the bull run. It does not herald an end of the bearish cycle, guys, unfortunately. The two options, obviously we have three options. Whenever you enter into a trade, there are three possible things that the market can do, or even if you're just doing analysis, there are three possible things that the market can do. It can go down, it can go up, or it can go sideways. And I do think that Bitcoin going up from here, at least in a sustained pronounced aspect, is looking less likely as time goes on. Now, this can change on a dime. The markets do change, and I really appreciate everybody coming in here who understands technical analysis, because most people who are beginners to technical analysis believe that because I've been able to successfully trade for almost a decade now, they think that I have some crystal ball and I magically know absolutely which way the market's going to go. Once you begin to understand that the market is a game of probability and statistics, and not anything ever in the history of any kind of trading would ever be considered a sure bet. Anybody who talks like that does not know what they're talking about. This is why This is why when people tell me, oh, this crypto oracle over here said price was going to do this, or this analyst said price was going to do this, or as I was speaking about with Hayden the other day, he made a very interesting comment where he said, I hear a lot of people say, because of this, price must do this. We immediately stop listening to you because you don't know what you're talking about. Price doesn't have to do anything. Your best analysis can really be invalidated with one large institutional order flow trader pressing that button. Nitin Soki asks, does it make sense to then put a buy order on Bitcoin at $2,800 and hold? No, not in the aspect of trading. You want to be looking at that area with a risk management strategy. If you think that $2,800 is a good, again, there are multiple ways to look at this. If you want to be looking at $2,800 as an area where price would likely wick down to, but I disagree with, I agree with the first part of your sentence, and I think, yes, 2,800, 2,900 would be decent areas to look for a speculative bounce, especially. I do think that if Bitcoin, as I've said before, I think that if Bitcoin goes below 3,000, then most likely we will continue moving down until we eventually end up where I think we will bottom at 2331. That is the 88.6 Fibonacci retracement, where we actually did bottom at the end of our last bear cycle. But I do expect that we will most likely see wicks down to 2,900, 2,800. It's absolutely possible. But as far as the hold aspect, no, I wouldn't be looking to hold in the way that I think that you're approaching that term. I would be looking for that as a trade, and I would be looking to sell at a previous resistance level, either around 3,100, 3,200. We just have to wait and see what the markets are doing and what the key levels are at that point in time. And yes, I don't mind looking at ETHUSD, Bitfinex, no problem, Mr. Cypher. Thank you so much. By the way, you moderators are doing a fantastic job. I really am impressed, and I'm very appreciative and feeling good about the fact that I did decide to get more moderators in the channel. Okay. So, what does Bitcoin need to do? Oh, hold on. Let me make sure that it's Okay, I want to talk about the inverted head and shoulders meme, and I also want to talk about, in that aspect, what I'm going to need to see to be taking a bullish trade to the long side. So let's go down to the daily chart, and let's turn off logarithmic. And now we can see my actual trading lines in the key areas that I'm looking at for support and resistance. So yesterday, me and Alex were analyzing the markets, looking for potential trades. And we entered into an XBT and ETH/USD perpetual swap short. Let's actually go over to let's actually go over here to the premium signals tracking sheet, and I can give you guys an update on the Kraken Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group. Okay, so week 4, absolutely fantastic, moving along quite nicely. December has been a fantastic month for us, guys. Again, I always try to be very upfront and honest. Yes, we are a very successful trading group. We do have a fantastic win-loss ratio. We do have a fantastic P&L ratio. These are not, although these numbers are quite impressive, you can see that week 4's P&L is 258.74% currently. That is not going to be a reflection of your actual equity curve. Your equity curve should be impressive, following along with the strategy of the Kraken Cryptocurrency Trading Group. But you do want to make sure that you take into account the fact that we are using risk management, we are using different position sizes for each trade, and so your individual results will be reflective of the risk that you choose to associate. And again, we had a fantastic webinar last night where I did touch on how to use your distance to your stop loss, your leverage. I dispelled notions about leverage, guys, so I'll give you the cliff notes perhaps some other time. But so many people have wrong ideas about what leverage does and how to use it. They think that if they crank up leverage, they're going to make more profits. That's just simply not the case. The only way that you can make more profits is by taking more risk, by taking a larger position size. And I went over in depth how you can use the distance to your stop loss or your stop loss level with your risk amount to calculate out your position size and to be able to take a larger position safely and to keep your risk level the same. So, but yes, we did take that XBT and ETHUSD short. The actual signal was to enter into an XBT USD short above 3,900 and to be targeting 3,850 and 3,750. The same with Ethereum. We targeted out a sell box of 145 to 151. We were targeting 141, 137, and 132.5. Actually, the downside exceeded our expectations, and we did actually go significantly lower. So congratulations to the traders that did take that trade. And then also Alex's Walton train trade did end up hitting our first take profit target this morning. So fantastic on that trade as well. We already traded Walton Chain once, so Alex had put out an analysis and a potential trade setup, and then I had put in a potential trade setup as well. So we already hit this take profit target once with my setup and closed that out, and then he entered in for a longer positional trade as well. So congratulations to the traders that took that trade. But let's get back into the analysis. So chat up, sorry guys. K7 Jixer 1000, LTC and XRP both have higher highs and higher lows. We are currently in an XRP position. Xantimus Crypto, good morning to you, sir. Mr. DecipherX said BitMEX, not Bitfinex. So, okay, yes, I will use that. I will look at the perpetual swap on BitMEX. Omsauce asks, can I do TA on the stock markets? I can. Edward Park says, I'll be honored, but I want to earn it. I don't see your... I'm not sure what that's in reference to, my friend. Oh, hello to you. Gotta Watch Crypto asks, am I still in the lead? Let me check, man. Let me check, my friend. Let's see here. No, that would be Mr. Gabriel, who threw us $33.33. Very appreciative to Mr. Gabriel. Thank you so much, sir. Gotta Watch Crypto, you are in a strong second place, though, my friend. You're in a strong second place. Don't let anybody take that from you, man. Hey, Alex, how you doing this morning, man? Max X says, oh my God, 2018 is almost over and we are still alive. We lived through crypto apocalypse. Yes, I think that is a fantastic thing, guys. You know, 2018 has been a very rough year for most of the investors involved in the cryptocurrency space. A lot of indecision, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, of course. No, Max X, there isn't. It's not you. I still have a slight issue, man. Edward Park, yeah, man. As long as I see you hanging around, man, I'm fine with that. This is, I apologize if I'm being rude, but this is really the first time I've seen you in the chat. So yes, keep hanging around, man. Vincent Yag says, hi, is the XLM trade from the free signal still valid? Yes. Yes, it is. We are still putting in. We did have a break of this channel line, of this broadening bottom. We did break that line, found a little bit of resistance, but we're still currently putting in higher lows at this current point in time. So, yes, trade's still valid. And actually, I'm going to be putting out new free signals, guys. I was putting them out quite frequently, but we've been so busy with the members group. But I am going to be making sure that I am putting out at least one a week, which I have been doing. But I will be making sure that I put some out for the New Year's. Darius Souza asks, what does that red star represent? This is the area where I do want to be going short from. This is where I have short orders spaced. And I'd be managing risk if we are able to break above this resistance equilibrium order block that I have, that is represented by the red rectangle. Okay. Johnny Bull says, bear pole, bear flag on the 4-hour chart. No, I don't really see a bear flag there. I don't really see a bear flag there. No. No, generally when you see a flag formation, it is on, it's on low momentum. It's on low volatility. And although we have, it's on low volume, we definitely do see low volume on this pullback. I don't see a lot of actually bullish volume coming in, which makes sense. It is the weekend. We're going to be seeing most likely some exciting stuff starting here toward the weekly close, toward the daily close. We always do see more enhanced volatility at that point in time, giving us a clear aspect of where the market's going to go. I would like to see a nice spike up into my sell region. Again, that's what I'm banking on. Either way, either we need to tap into liquidity to be able to push price down, or we are going to break past this resistance zone. Either way will work for me. I do have potential trades on the table. Either way we go. So let me finish with the daily chart right here, because I do want to finish talking about the inverted head and shoulders before I get too carried away. All right. Hey, Mr. Poirier88, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch, my friend. Highly appreciated. Yeah, guys, there's not a whole lot that I can actually do about the audio settings right now. If I change them, then most likely I will lose the most likely I will lose the volume of the audio, and I just don't want to have to have you guys sit through a long session of me adjusting the volume. I will double check it and have it fixed. I will double check it and have it fixed tomorrow. Promise you guys that. And as far as the lag, again, there is a snowstorm kind of going on here where I'm at, so unable to really deal with that. It's just Mother Nature, man. It's just the weather. So, all right. So let's talk about the inverted head and shoulders meme, guys. Let's talk about that. Okay. So this is what everybody is looking at, and I'm going to tell you why I'm cautious about the inverted head and shoulders meme. Because so many retail traders are excited about it. Because so many individuals who are not experienced traders, in my opinion, are looking at this. I don't know many actual experienced traders that are looking at this like it's going to play out. Again, one of the things that allows me to be profitable is the fact that I am conservative. And again, you trade with the trend. The trend is your friend until that big bend at the end, guys. I don't see that big bend at the end yet. Yes, Bitcoin did have a nice violent movement down yesterday. I do think that we will most likely drift slowly upwards, most likely into this area. I think that that will most likely excite a lot of people into entering into short positions, or excuse me, entering into long positions, which will, if everything works out properly for me, provide liquidity to my short orders, but institutional order flow as well. So we do have the inverted head and shoulders pattern playing out here. We have talked about potential measured moves. If we actually go over to the BitMEX chart, I can show that more clearly. We do have on the BitMEX chart, we do have the measured moves of the inverted head and shoulders pointing us up to that $5,500 area. The measurement to shoulder is actually, excuse me, the measure right shoulder is going to be 5,364. The measurement to the left shoulder is actually going to be 5,615. Now, I'll tell you why I don't like this. First off, crooked necklines are okay, but back testing, just go back test any, any time frame of inverted head and shoulders playing out in Bitcoin's history that you want to play out. Sloping, descending necklines do not have a high probability to play out. I do not think that this is going to play out. I think that this is a meme that's being paid in by institutional traders who want to move price to the downside, and that is going to be the directional play that I am going to be taking. Again,